Okay, so today we're going to talk about an installation of OwnCloud, an open source storage cloud solution for the Raspberry Pi. I'm installing 703 with a web server, Nginx, and OpenSSL, PHP5, and obviously Raspbian wheezy. If you're not sure how to install Raspbian wheezy, this guide is expecting you to know how to install Raspbian wheezy, so look up another tutorial that focuses on the installation of the operating system. I am going to talk about the basics that the operating system has to be in order to be configured for the installation, though. So I've done a few steps just for the sake of time. This is going to be a full guide, but it's going to be a fast-paced guide. So a few things to start off would be Raspbian config, or it will be displayed to you right after your installation and your first boot after the install. So I'll go in here, and the few settings are going to be expand file system. I've already done the expansion of the file system. And then the next setting would be change user password. I've already done that as well. And it's straightforward. You hit enter and it'll prompt you for the password. So there shouldn't be any questions regarding just setting a password. And then internationalization options. So in here you'd set your time zone so it would link to a time server, and then change your locale. I've already set mine up, and it's right here in the guide. So here is what you'd want to set it up to, depending on your location. So mine's already configured. So you literally uncheck by hitting the space bar. So if there's a star in one of the options that doesn't relate to you, which there should be, you'd hit the space bar again to uncheck something. So I've already got mine set up. I actually linked all three of the EN_US local options, so that's all set up. Keyboard, you may want to set that up. It's not as important as these two, but I've actually set up all three of mine. If there's any questions about the keyboard, go ahead and ask down in the comments below. So I'm going to go ahead and hit tab, because if I hit down it doesn't do anything. So I'm going to hit tab, and then I'm going to go back, and then so we've set those options. We don't obviously want to enable camera because this is going to be headless, basically headless cloud server. I didn't set anything up in option 6. Overclocking, I set it to medium high, and basically you go in here, click OK, and then I set it to actually high right there. So I set it to high. If you wanted high, you'd hit enter, and then you'd hit it would do its thing, and then come back to this, and you click OK. So I'm going to just do tab, and then over, and then enter, and so I hit cancel. So because I've already overclocked mine. So advanced options, I always set up, I set the host name, which is just the name of the Raspberry Pi. I do the memory split in this configuration, as you see an option in for the first step in section C. You'll see that I split it down to 16 megabytes. So I'd set the memory split to 16. So you basically, you go in here and you set it to 16. As you see there, just 16, and then tab. And then I'm just going to hit the over and then enter because I'm canceling. I've already set it to 16. And then, so I haven't enabled camera. I haven't enabled this option. I just overclocked it to high. The advanced options, I set the host name. I set memory split to 16. Yes, I do enable SSH. That's up to you if you're going to run a display. We're not going to run graphical interface, but if you want to have a display, you may not need SSH. I always do. So the rest of the settings I don't touch. So that's the basics. So I'm going to do tab, finish. So normally it'd ask you to reboot after doing that. So what we've done so far, we've went into Raspbian config, we expanded the file system, we set internationalization options, we've done the memory split, we've enabled SSH, we've set the host name, and now we're going to talk about something that's not in this Microsoft Word document, and that is setting the IP address. So to set the Raspberry Pi IP address, it's sudo sudo nano /etc /network /interfaces. I'm going to open that up. Now, the first thing that I do in our standard Raspberry Pi configuration, I leave auto loopback, which is that first line there. I leave that alone, and then the iFace loopback, iNet loopback, I leave that alone as well. Now I'll comment out everything else because I'm not using wireless or anything like that or DHCP. So I've statically assigned all my information up in this section right here. So what I mean by commented out is that I've set the I put in pound signs in front of the lines. Okay, so the address I've set, that's the local static address that I've assigned. The subnet mask. Now, if you don't know these settings or what they should be, then that's something that you'll have to find outside of this video. This isn't networking or like that or anything like that. So I set the address, I set my net mask, my gateway, which is usually your router. I've got a DNS server local, and there's my DNS name. Okay, so all that is commented out, and then I just save that file and I reboot. Remember, if you change these settings and you're expecting to SSH, these settings would have to be correct if you don't have a monitor, or you'd have to change the IP address that you'd SSH into for the Raspberry Pi. So I'm just going to do, if I'm using Nano, so I do control, I would do like control X to save it, or so I would save that file, and then with all those settings, reboot, and then I do sudo reboot, and it'd come back at that address. So there's that, and then now after you've done the memory split, you've done your overclock, we would do sudo apt-get update and sudo apt-get upgrade. So updates the repository list and the binary versions that would be installed, and then upgrade would actually install the latest versions of those binaries. So they're already installed on mine. I'll go ahead and run through it anyway, just so that you see it. So sudo apt-get update, and it's going to run through. It's going to look at the repositories out on the internet. This is connected via wire. It's going to pull the dependencies down, all that information from the repository data. And then the upgrade command, after it finishes this list, it's going to install, if I type sudo apt-get update, if there's anything new that's out there, it's going to pull down those binaries and those dependencies. So wait for it. Okay, so it's done, and I'm not gonna, just for the sake of this video, I'm not gonna type in sudo apt-get upgrade. I've already done that. There shouldn't be any. Well, let me go ahead, just to make sure. And there shouldn't be any there, unless, yeah. So there they go. So there's nothing left. Now, if this is a brand new Raspbian installation, you will have updates. So this will take a little bit. So now we're on to step 3. Step 3 is pretty straightforward. We're going to add a group, and the group is going to be called www-data. So I'm going to add that group. I just literally pasted in there. That's not a good practice to have, but for this video, that's what I'm doing. It says it already exists, so that's good. Okay, so now we're going to run a user mod. We're going to add a user to the group. Okay. Now we're going to install all these packages, and this is going to take a little bit, and I haven't already actually done this, so this will take a while. Sudo apt-get install, and then all of these packages. So I'm just going to let it run, and we'll come back to it. So let's. So there you have it. There's a lot of information. It's waiting to be installed. It looks like it's 71.5 megabytes. So you want to make sure that you have a pretty good size. I'd say a minimum of 16 gigabytes SSD, or I'm sorry, SD card. You want at least 16 gigabytes. I would expect. So I did Y for yes. I want to install. I'm going to hit enter. And it's going to install all of these. We'll see how long it takes. It's downloading them now. It's already to PHP 5. PHP 5 CGI. After it finishes the installation, and this is moving pretty fast because I have it set to high. So there it goes. It's moving right along. And also I have the memory. I only have 15 megabytes dedicated for video. So it's got more memory than normal, I would say, than the average installation. And it has and it's overclocked a little bit higher, right? So and this step, we're on to step 6. After this installation finishes, step 6, we want to make sure that PHP 5 curl is not installed. So you will literally run the next command to make sure that it is not present on the system, because it will interfere with the installation of OwnCloud 7. So I'm going to copy that. And the web server is installing, PHP is installing, SQLite is installing, SSL is installing. So almost there, and now it's processing the man pages, the man page database. Should be done in just a second here. So we'll run after this. It's finished installing the local information. Almost done. Setting up PHP 5 CGI. By the way, if you're wondering what that noise is in the background, I have an English bulldog that is snoring. So if you can hear her, she's back there sleeping away. Okay. So there's the laundry list that was installed. And there it's starting the HTTP accelerator and the fast CGI for the web server. Okay, completed. So now we're going to go on to step after the installation of all those binary files, the web server, OpenSSL, and PHP and SQLite, and libtool and curl, and all of those packages that needed to be installed. We're going to go to step 6. And that's, we're going to make sure that PHP 5 curl is not installed. So I'm just going to paste that in there. and it's looking for it to see if it's there. It says it's not installed, so it's not removed. Okay, so now we're going to go and that I'm going to scroll down here. Now we're going to create a SSL certificate for 2 years. So just literally I'm copying this. I'm going to paste it in there. And this is going to create it. You'll see the key out is in Etsy, the name of the web server, and then cert.key. And it's asking me to create a country code. And in this case, it's going to be US. And state and province, OR, I'm in Oregon. And it wants the full name. City. And I'm just going to call it something that I call it. There we go. So I'm going to leave the 2 brackets. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to call it organizational unit. I'll call home. Oh, actually, yeah, I'll call it home. Common name or FQDN. This is for all intents and purposes for me. It's going to be called pi3.haven.local. Email address, whatever you want, whatever the email address you want to use. For right now, I'm going to use someone@gmail.com. That is not my email address, by the way. Okay, so the certificate has been made. Normally, you would use your credentials there. Now, I'm going to modify the privileges to those 2 files that I just created. So I copy that, go back in here, and then I'm just going to literally paste. And I'm changing those privileges to the 2 cert files. Okay, so if you need to understand privileges, there's plenty of tutorials out there that talks about changing permissions to these 2 files, or that talks about changing permissions. Okay, so I've changed the permissions. I've created a cert for 2 years, and now we're going to configure the web server. So now, it'll say copy the entire content below. So in this document, you will see a page and a half of content. You will change nothing except for your IP address. So where it says your IP address, that's what you will change of whatever you statically set your Raspberry Pi to. So if you go back, I'm going to actually rename this default, and I'm going to copy everything in this file into here. So I'm going to do Control X. I'm not going to save that. I'm going to go up, and then actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to go sudo nano. Or actually, I'm going to move that file and call it default1. So mv/etc/ngins/sites-available. And then I'm going to call it default. And then that's the name of the file, and then I'm going to move it to Etsy ngins sites tab available tab, and then I'm going to call it default 1, or default actually underscore org for original. So hit enter. Now I'm going to go I'm going to open that. I'm going to create a file. So I'm going to do sudo nano etc, the name of the web server, sites available / default. So it's an empty file right now, and then I'm literally going to take this information, and you'll see where it stops, and I'm going to copy it, and then there'll be a GitHub repository too, so that way this document in a Word file doesn't mess with the formatting of the Word document, doesn't mess with your file. So I'm going to paste it in there. Wait for a minute, let it paste. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll up to the top of the file. And I'm going down to where it says your IP address, server name. And I'm going to change that with the actual the IP address of the Raspberry Pi. So in my case, it's 10.0.1.17. And there should be one more. Your IP address, there it is. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that to the IP address of the Raspberry Pi again. So 10.0.1.17. Okay, so that's I'm going to go ahead and save this file, change the actual 2 locations that I need to change it. And I'm going to hit Control X, and it's going to say, do you want to save this file? I'm going to hit the Y key and then enter. And now I just saved that. I just saved that file. So we're done with that, with step 8, configuration of the web server. So step 9, we're going to configure the max upload for PHP. So we're going to modify this file. It's inside etc, PHP5, FPM, and then PHP INI. So we'll copy that. And now, upload underscore max underscore file size. So we'll scroll down and I'll just locate it in the file. And it should be fairly simple to find. I'm going to this is the first time I'm looking for it, so I just want to make sure. If I can find it here. A lot of these settings you don't need to change. We're just going in here modifying upload file size so you can upload large files to OwnCloud if you need to. Scroll down. Max input time, memory limit, and we're waiting, max logs. And it wouldn't hurt to actually read the information inside this file, but for all intents and purposes, to get up and going, we're literally just going to find. Now I use Nano, and if I was looking, there we go, post max size. Yes, so that's one of our settings. You'll see it right there. Post max size, set it to 1000 M. So we're going to set that to 1. This is not memory size limit, so I'm going to leave the M. I'm just going to hit backspace and then 1000. And now we're looking for upload max file size. And hopefully it's not too much farther down. I think it should be set to 20 by default. There we go. Max file uploads. And it's set to 20. Oh, there we go. There it is right there. So see where it's actually set to 2 megabytes. Most files nowadays are above 2 megabytes. So we changed this from 2 megabytes to 1,000. You can make it higher if you need to. And so this is 20 files at a time. And this is the individual file size. And I'm just going to set that to almost 1 gigabyte. So now I've saved. Now that I've entered those two values in, I'm going to do Control X. It's going to ask me if I want to save. I'm going to click Y, and then I'm going to hit Enter. So I just saved php.ini. So now we're going to configure some more PHP information. We're going to go into www.conf. So we're configuring PHP. And we're going to modify inside pool.d www.conf. So I'm going to go inside that file, and is what we want to do is we want to change the following line from listen var run php5.sock to listen port 9000. So let's scroll down into this file. We're looking for var run php5 fpm. And now just to show you, if you need to do a quick search, just for the sake of time, so I'm not looking for this, I can also do, once you're in Nano, I can do a where is, which is a Control W. If you notice in the bottom of this window, you'll see that character and the W, which is Control W. So I'm going to do Control W, and there's the search function. And if I was wanting to look for, I'm going to look for actually listen, and then equals. Oops. And then enter. And there, it brought me right to it. So there's the listen equals var run php5. Now, is what I would do, I would comment this out and leave it alone. Leave that setting actually there. And I would so I would put a pound sign in front of it. And then I'd hit the drop down. And what I do is I just listen space equals. And then I do the loop, this is the loop back with the port address, which is 127.0.0.1:9000. So there it's set. And I would do a space just like it was. So I commented what was there out, and then I just basically put it below. So that way, if I ever need to revert changes, it would be pretty straightforward to do. So now we're done with that. So I'm going to hit Control X and then Y to save the file, or Y to say yes, and then hit Enter, and it writes the file. So now we're going down on step 10. We're going down just a few. We're going into Etsy dphys-swap file. So we're going to modify this, paste. See where it says 100? We're going to change that conf_swap file size to 512. So conf_swap file size, we're setting it to 512. So now I'm going to do Control X, Y, enter, and I save the file. So now we're on to step 11, which is just a restart. So we're going down inside and we're rerunning the startup command to have it do a restart. So we paste the first one. So that restarted, and we're going to paste the second one. There we go. So there's the PHP and web server Nginx has been restarted. So now we're on to step 12. And we're going to make var www OwnCloud directory. So So I'm creating, on step 12, I'm just creating a folder called OwnCloud. And then now I'm going to pull in the actual OwnCloud files to be installed. It's going to download it. Hopefully that doesn't take too long. There it goes. Now I'm gonna untar the contents. So here we go. I'm unzipping it or untarring the compressed file. And this is version 703 on the latest version of Raspbian. Give it just a few minutes and it should be working away, unzipping that compressed file, the tar.bz2 file. Almost there. Almost there. Okay. Okay, so it's finished extracting. Now we're going to move OwnCloud into var www. Copied it over. Now we're going to give the privileges to that location recursively. So we set all the permissions. Now we're going to remove what we downloaded so it's not taking up space. So it removed it. Now's the time. Step 13 is going to be when you actually log into your OwnCloud. If you have any questions or comments, if you like what you've seen today, please leave a comment or leave a like, subscribe. Let me know if you have any trouble. You guys take care and have a good day. You're just going to go into the IP address of your Raspberry Pi and set up your admin account with the web browser. Have a good day, guys.